Cinema Classics is sponsored by the Gateway Film Center and is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to shows online at wcbe.org. I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
This is Cinema Classics.
It is, and he's still working.
Yeah. Who are we talking about?
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner is still working. And, you know, in the right part, in the right movie, tonally, Kevin Costner is as, well, arguably greater than he's ever been.
Yeah.
Just the movies maybe aren't as great, but Kevin Costner, like so many of our great American male movie stars, have really become better with age.
Boy, isn't that... Most women would be so angry at us for saying that, but that is
yeah,
the truth.
I mean, I know it's hard, and it doesn't always necessarily have to do with the landscape of the face. Sometimes it's the way. So, Let Him Go, right? It's
yes.
in theaters right now. He's rejoining his Man of Steel co-star Diane Lane. They're a married couple,
Yep.
long married.
Yep.
In what, Montana? Something like that?
Yep, and then it goes to North Dakota, I think.
Okay.
But anyway, the two locations.
Long story short, their grandson is, their young grandson is caught up in this, I don't know, this crazy family in North Dakota, right? So they go to rescue him. Anyway, there's a scene in the movie where they want to get Diane Lane is the grandmother, and she wants desperately to take this young child back with her. She scoops the kid up in her arms. One, she has a great line, which is, he weighs nothing. Because they keep complaining about carrying the kid.
Good one.
He weighs nothing, and as a parent, you know how deeply true that is. It's starting to get hot. There's trouble afoot, right?
Yep.
Kevin Costner looks back at her, and all he does is gesture with his eyes for him to put her down. And it's almost imperceptible.
This is what I love about film acting. It's so subtle, but there's a real art to it. You wouldn't be surprised to know that many people compare him to Gary Cooper, but you know who he really loved.
Yeah, Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Of course. And I remember those comparisons back in the, when Field of Dreams came out.
Oh, a great film, by the way. I think a terrific performance for him.
Mm-hmm.
Something that he doesn't usually do is kind of wistful.
Yeah.
Magical. It's almost a Disney quality to that film. It's something that I guess I was really one of.
Beautiful.
Right.
It's a like, but some people it takes. You have to, there's a leap of faith you take with that movie. You're going to accept.
Sure.
That what you're trying to get at is an emotional truth.
Sure.
By way of this fantastical setup about the baseball field and the ghosts. His early career is pretty spectacular.
Talk to me about the great one.
Well, Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of people would argue that it's not great, that it takes an overly simplistic view.
It's beautifully photographed.
But come on, the guy was a young, up-and-coming movie star when he makes this movie. Now, most cinephiles hold against it that it won Best Picture over Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you for reminding me of that.
I think that sticks in the craw.
That's a great point.
But I stand by the movie's greatness, especially as, one, a movie directed by an actor, and two, for undertaking such an epic, emotionally, geographically, historically, by a young, unproven.
And I'll tell you, I've been bitter ever since that he hasn't done something comparable, because I think he has two other films he directed.
See, and that's where it goes. That's where the career goes south.
And is The Postman one of them?
The Postman is one of them, and there's another one like that. A sort of.
But he just starred in Waterworld, where he really went down.
Waterworld. Not as bad. I would. You can find Waterworld streaming. Waterworld is a really fun movie. Like Ishtar, it's not as bad as
people say.
As people say, it was because of it caught everyone's imaginations because the budget was spiraling out of control. He was having creative differences with the director. All told, that is a fun 1990s apocalyptic adventure.
Well, one that our audience can get a hold of on Netflix, The Highwaymen, with Woody Harrelson. Don't you think? I think that's a pretty good.
I didn't see it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Is it good?
So I think you should. I think it brings a lot of his qualities in. He doesn't dominate, because it's hard to dominate Woody Harrelson.
Right, right.
But the two of them are really.
I would like to see it,
Yeah.
just to see those two play off of
Yeah,
each other.
yeah.
I got one that I think is extraordinary and criminally underrated, and one of Franco's favorites. He requested to rewatch this movie the other night. A Perfect World.
Oh yeah, and that's got
Clint
Eastwood.
Eastwood.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood directed it.
Yes.
He wasn't supposed to be in it, but I think that Kevin Costner. This was right after Unforgiven.
Yes.
So Clint Eastwood had all this cachet, and they make this movie. It's set in the early '60s, and Kevin Costner is an escaped convict.
Yes, right.
Who, along with this other bad guy, they take this kid, and they light out.
And then
And with
Eastwood,
Clint Eastwood on his
right,
on the trail.
He's like a Texas Ranger or something. And
Yeah, but they get rid of the one bad guy, and when they do, Costner and the kid really forge this bond.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful, one of those beautiful movies about heroism, the reality of these men that we look up to, father figures, missing fathers. It's a great movie. It's a beautiful movie.
Now, what about? He got the Oscar
Hmm.
for Untouchables.
No, he did not
No.
get an Oscar. Connery got the Oscar for
Connor
Untouchables.
got the Oscar. Yeah, sorry. And Costner, has he ever?
I don't know, not an acting award.
No, he got the
Just the
Oscar
Best
of course,
Picture.
for Dances with Wolves.
But
right?
I'm glad you brought up the Untouchables, because that might be really, in some ways, the artistic apotheosis of his career.
Okay.
Like, as far as tapping into what young Kevin Costner was, that innocent Jimmy Stewart-like quality, Americana, coupled with Brian De Palma's operatic violence.
Mhm.
That is a beautiful movie.
No, good one. What about anything recently besides Let Him Go? And I know you and I have been keeping an eye on the Westerns.
Yeah.
And he did do Open Range.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's got 16 endings, but Open Range is one of the better post-Unforgiven Westerns.
What's your take on Wyatt Earp?
Wyatt Earp, it came out at the same time Tombstone came out.
Okay.
Wyatt
yeah.
Earp was going to be the big prestige version of that story. It flopped.
Yeah.
Probably just bloated. And
Did he play Wyatt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So.
I will say here's a fun one. Going back, and then we got to wrap up. We're out of time. I have successfully avoided for, I guess, 30 years, 25 years or more, seeing The Bodyguard.
Oh yeah, Whitney Houston.
Right. But during quarantine, I sat down and watched this with my wife, and I got to tell you, it is a B movie. There's no doubt about that. It is a melodramatic B romance, but really, it's a lot of that movie's a lot
That's
of fun.
a good one.
Yeah.
Well, he's 65 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't act 65 at all.
No.
He acts 35.
I'd like to see him lose a little weight, just so so he could maybe age a little more gracefully, like so we can see him moving. I guess.
Yeah, I
is
know.
what
I know.
You know.
I'm wondering if that doesn't do something good for me though, because he's still able to charm,
Yeah.
even getting this middle-aged pot belly and and being kind of a little cantankerous,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got it.
It suits him.